They tell me color is the last thing your mind forgets. Smells fade, faces blur, but color hangs on like a name on the tip of your tongue. I believed that once. Then I signed the consent form, and the lab taped little silver discs to my skull. I learned something else. You are not supposed to dream in black and white. The form called me a subject. 20 nights of sleep in a white room for a white check. A camera in the corner. An obsidian glass window where the doctors watch me blink. I try not to think about the glass when the lights go off. I try not to imagine what I cannot see. Night 1, I sleep like a kid. The dream is simple, my mother's red coat. At least, it used to be red. She walks ahead of me on a wet street. Puddles mirror the streetlights, but the lights are bone pale. She turns to wave. She is not my mother, and the coat is not red. It is gray, like wet newsprint. Everything is gray. I wake with the taste of paper in my mouth. That is the first night I tell them. No color. Nothing. Dr. Halverson smiles too wide and keeps his palms flat on his knees like a school teacher. He shows me flashcards, a basket of green apples, a blue umbrella, a stop sign. He asks what color this is. I answer easily, but the pictures feel overwashed. I say red, green, blue. He records in tidy block print. He says grayscale dreams are common. He says it is not rare, not a problem. Night 3, I dream about a park. Swings creak. The sky is one shade lighter than the ground. A dog runs without sound, only the chain on its collar ticking. A woman sits on a bench the same color as the tree bark. She holds a bouquet. I count the flowers because it is something to do. 11. All pale. She stands, drops the bouquet, and the stems leave a wet kiss on the wood. When I wake, my knuckles ache like I have been squeezing something. Half moons in my palms. The monitor keeps beeping. Later, the lab TV talks about a car crash in a park. The woman in the photo is not the one from my dream, but the bench is the same, and the curve in the fence is the same. The man she was meeting did not make it. The bouquet is a smear of gray. I do not say anything. There is a little static in my mouth. Night 5. The dream begins with a door that will not open, then opens too easily. A hallway stretches. The floor is the color of old teeth. A vending machine blinks 88:88 in tired light. A man kneels with his hands behind his head. I do not know him, but he is already crying. He tries to speak. The captions do not load. A door behind him opens. The room gulps. A tall figure steps in. What I remember is the cardboard crown. The points are the kind that used to cut my fingers. That is the clearest thing. The cardboard is gray too. I wake with the taste of pennies. I check my tongue. No blood. The nurse asks how I slept. I say fine. It feels safer to let the dream pass through me like cold water. At lunch, the TV is low. A robbery downtown in the basement office of a payday lending place. A still from a security camera. A tall figure with a party crown. A man on his knees. His name is Joaquin. He does not look up. The vending machine in the corner blinks 88:88. By night 7, the camera in the corner feels like a small planet. It pulls my eyes as I fall asleep. I count breaths into the blanket. 4 in, 4 out. Pretend you're a white room with nothing inside. A mouth without a tongue. The dream opens on a crosswalk. The stripes look like little coffins. The signal changes to a person walking, but the person is crooked like the stencil slipped. Across the way, a kid in a hoodie holds a paper bag and a drink. He is colorless, but he moves like a real kid. I know the drink should be orange. The straw should have red rings. I know the feel of that plastic. I know, but I cannot see it. The light changes. The kid steps off the curb. Far left, a truck takes the turn too fast. It should be red like all trucks and dreams. It is the color of old smoke. The kid tilts his head like he hears his name, which is impossible in this soundless place. The truck does not stop. I wake to my own throat. The nurse is already in the room, shoes whispering. She asks if I need water. I nod. My hands shake like I drank coffee. I have not had coffee in a week. At noon, the news reads a name that could be the kid. The photo is a school picture. He smiles and his drink is bright orange. The footage plays again and again. They pixelate the impact. The crosswalk stripes look like a piano going wrong. I tell myself it is coincidence. The mind searches for patterns. The windows show nothing outside. I drink water that tastes gray. Dr. Halverson asks for detail. How do I know the coat should be red if I see only gray? I say memory. He writes that like it is clinical. He brings out Ishihara plates. I read every number without pause. He makes a small sound I do not understand. Not surprise, not relief. Something like pity. I ask if he believes me. He answers like a politician. Prediction is a heavy word. He prefers correlation. He says grief paints the past. The mind is not a camera. It is a painter with bad lighting. I ask him to keep the TV off. He says he cannot. The night nurse needs noise. We both look up when there's a pop from the ceiling. He laughs. Old buildings make old sounds, he says. He lays out the next 10 nights. A speaker under the pillow. A timed tone every 90 minutes to prompt lucid states. Maybe I can move inside the dream. Maybe I can change it. He tells me to find a color and hold it. He asks what color I would pick. I say red. He says, of course. Night 9, the tone is a silver spoon tapping a glass. It opens the dream like a door on oiled hinges. I'm in a laundromat. Porthole eyes spin. Windows are silvered with cold. A woman counts coins, lips moving. Her coat the same color as dryer lint snowing from a torn filter. I try to step toward her, and the floor slips like a treadmill set too high. I try again. The woman looks up like she can hear it too. She drops a coin. It rolls under a machine. She kneels. From the corner machine, something reaches out. A shape that is not a shape. A gray the color of a pupil. It is a hand, but it is the idea of a hand. It takes her wrist and does not tug. It waits. That is worse. I force my eyes to a poster on the wall. A shirt diagram. A cartoon red arrow pointing at a stain. I pour myself into the arrow. Cherries, a stoplight, a fire truck on a field trip. The arrow stays slate. The hand tightens. The coin stops rolling. I wake with my jaw sore. There is a mark on my pillow like I bled from my gums. The nurse changes the case without a word. At noon, a headline about a laundromat gas leak and a woman who fell and hit her head. She bled out before anyone noticed. A poster behind the police tape. A cartoon arrow. For half a second, my eyes trick me. The arrow looks red. I blink. It is not. By night 12, I can feel the tone before it arrives. Pressure on a bruise. The doctors bring the tones closer. They want more data. I can tell by the way they whisper. People who lie ask more questions than they answer. The dream opens in a grocery store. The fruit section is a graveyard of moons. Lights hum. A child tugs at his mother's sleeve. The pattern is a field of strawberries I know should be red. I tell myself not to focus on that. Find an easy color. Yellow, bananas. Make the bananas yellow. Pour the sun into the peel. Make it look like breakfast. The peel stays the color of old paste. The lights flicker like eyelids. A man in a delivery smock leans a hand truck against a shelf. He presses his fingers to the bridge of his nose like a headache has a shape. Then he drops like a string pulled him through tile. The hand truck tips and kisses his shoulder. The bananas do not roll. For a moment, I think I see a bright yellow sticker on the bunch. Then it turns the same color as everything else, like the dream corrects a mistake. I wake shaking. Dr. Halverson asks me to rate my distress 1 to 10. I say yellow. He does not write that. We skip the TV. We try headphones with ocean sounds. The ocean sounds like teeth. Night 13, the tone never comes. I do not sleep. At 4:11 a.m., the power dips. The monitor draws a skinny flat line, then remembers itself. I stare into the dark and feel laughter in the walls. The camera in the corner clicks. I whisper to the ceiling that I'm not afraid. I whisper it until I have convinced no one. Night 14. It starts before I close my eyes. The edges of the room shade in like charcoal washes over the corners. The air gets heavy like the ceiling lowered while I blinked. I think about the first night, and the coat and the park, and the truck, and the party crown. I think about the arrow that looked red for a heartbeat. I try to hold that heartbeat. The tone arrives late and sounds wrong, like the spoon hits a cracked glass. I do not dream in gray. I dream in black. It is not a color. It is not dark. It is a full mouth. It is a lake with no surface. It is the inside of a blank still. I know I am standing. My body tells me where my feet are by the buzz in my heels. My hands float up in front of my face and vanish at the wrist like they are erased. I call out, and the sound folds inward and returns as a breath on my cheek. A square opens in the black like a television waking. The square is not light. It is less black in a shape. It shows a hospital bed. Sheets that might be white, might be gray. A person lies with the kind of stillness you only see in two places. One is sleep, one is not. The person is me. I watch the chest rise and fall shallow. The camera in the corner watches the me in the bed. The obsidian glass windows watch too. There are no doctors. There is no nurse. There is just the spoon tone ringing once, twice, then flat. I lean closer, and the square leans back like two mirrors talking. I look for a mistake. Maybe the scar on my thumb is gone. Maybe the knot on my left shoulder is on the wrong side. Maybe the hairline is kinder. It is not. The only wrong thing is the way the wires go slack. The monitor from the square does not beep. It draws a line you could string a violin with. The black around me begins to grain. A soft snow, the way old televisions thunder when there is nothing to show. It looks almost like a color if you stare long enough. I realize what the dreams were. Not warnings, not prophecies, instructions. A rehearsal where the props were painted the wrong shade because the paint was not the point. The point was learning to accept the absence, to name it, to live inside it while awake. I raise my hand in the black and cannot see it. It is easy. It is also the last. They tell me color is the last thing your mind forgets. That is not true. There is something after color, after faces, after rooms, after names. There is a sound like 1,000 empty channels. It fills you. It lives between stations, between heartbeats, between the instant before a light changes and the instant after. It has always been there. You notice it once. The square in front of me tightens to a dot. The dot blinks like an eye that does not belong to anyone. For a fraction of a second, I think I see a red coat in the corner of the room, hanging on a hook. A little thread of color. I reach for it. My hand closes on nothing. The dot goes out.